Today we're going to be featuring a company called iMerit. Now, iMerit came to our conference and did a really, really good talk and also demonstrated what the company does. And we're just going to be focusing the next hour or so on the kind of work that they're doing. And it's titled Doing Big Nothing with Big Data. And I'm joined here by Laura and Anupam, who are both from iMerit, and they're going to be explaining to you guys a little bit about what they do, how they do it, and of course, you're more than welcome to ask as many questions as possible. So you may or may not know, but about a month ago now, we had our annual conference in San Francisco, and as I said before, these guys came down and really blew people's minds. We had their President Didi Ganguly come and do a 25-minute talk, and everyone was blown away by it. So we thought we may as well get them in to do a webinar with us. So without further ado, Laura, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome. I'm going to hand it over to you, Laura. Guys, if you want to ask any questions throughout this webinar, you know exactly where to put them in. There's a little question box there. So please sit back and enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alex. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. We're really excited to be here. And as Alex kindly mentioned, we first got in touch with import.io at their recent conference and are really excited about the joint mission we have of making sure that data is useful, clean, and available for all kinds of uses. So my name is Laura Guzman. I'm the editorial director at iMerit. I'll be talking about who we are, how we function, and I'll set the stage for my wonderful colleague Anupam to discuss some case studies and talk about data security. Here are some requisite pictures for you to put a face to our names and voices. I know we have about an hour slotted for this, but I'm going to make this easy on everyone, and we're going to get through some interesting information in about 20 or 25 minutes. We will open it up for questions for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We're happy to go longer if there are questions, or you can shoot us an email at the addresses that I'll show at the end, and we can continue the conversation on there. But we want to get some good information in front of you and then let you go on your way and enjoy your morning or evening. So with no further ado, we will go ahead and get started. So first, who are we? iMerit is a global human-empowered computing company created to deliver some of the most advanced data services in cutting-edge technologies. At the same time, we effect positive social and economic change. We are one of the world's leading digital service providers for companies like eBay and Getty, and startups in the areas of machine learning and the on-demand economy. Our data wrangling services are applicable across many verticals. What unites them most is making sure that all of our clients get really clean, actionable, and rich data sets in the way that they need them. So whether that means we are providing metadata necessary for high-quality search results, or creating image data sets for machine vision, or tagging user-generated content to conduct sentiment analysis, our teams are on it. So this breadth of experience managing and delivering data projects and big data sets has given us insight into what makes data sets successful and how teams and companies can best create, clean, and enhance their data. So all of that knowledge bumping around our heads, our team's heads, is why we're here today. In this webinar, we'll explore cases that highlight 3 keys to getting the most out of your huge or unruly data sets. So first, and perhaps most obviously for everyone on the webinar today, is the necessity for really rich, well-structured, and clean data. Whether you're trying to improve user experience or create insights or build an algorithm, whatever it may be, all of your work is really only as good as the data that you have. And then in turn, the data that you have is only as valuable as it is clean and complete. Second, this good data can take a lot of time to build. Data wrangling and cleaning isn't really anyone's favorite task, and it can take a lot of resources, a lot of money, and a lot of time, but this time and talent can be sourced externally if you have the right team. Third, the external talent that you do tap has to be responsive, iterative, and innovative. They can learn. You don't need to interact just kind of with a monolithic group that doesn't learn. And that learning and that responsiveness will only make the data cleaning easier. Before we jump into case studies, let me go ahead and give you a primer on how we work. So iMerit's key strengths are our teams and our integrated training. So first, our teams are curated teams of full-time employees who we've hired from low-income backgrounds through our partner foundation. They're continually trained and skilled to match both market and client needs. In some ways, our teams function as a crowd that you might find on a crowd platform. They're able to achieve really high targets of speed and scale, for example. However, they have the additional strength from our employer-employee relationship, which is that they're able to quickly pivot and learn and kind of build their skills on the go. Our second key strength after our team is the integrated delivery and learning platform that we use. So what this means is that while our teams are working on the projects that our clients bring to them, they are also learning from the quality and from what they're putting out and the quality that the client is returning to us. So let me take a closer look at these feedback loops. So we monitor data transfer, worker performance, project success, and ongoing learning and training from end to end of our project life cycles. So starting from getting data and knowledge from the client, we're able to manage this through APIs, receive data through crowdsourcing platforms, or use a cloud transfer. This enters our database, and for some clients, we manage projects directly on their platform. For others, we use and customize in-house platforms to meet their needs, and for still others, we work on partner crowdsourcing platforms that Anupam will touch on briefly. Once this all enters our platform and our database, it's delivered to our workers based on various levels of permissions and access. So workers are provided with training and instructions both prior to and during project engagements. We dynamically monitor and provide corrections to the data that our workers are creating or enhancing. So this creates a really strong feedback loop between both quality control and training and our workers. And what this means is twofold. So first, it will mean that the data that they're putting out is going to be as accurate to the client's needs as possible. And it will, in the future, enhance the productivity and the efficiency of our workers because they're getting corrections and learning and training on the fly. So this feedback loop, excuse me, is also happening between our quality team and our clients in the database. And so what this means is that as, again, we're going through the projects, our teams are communicating with the client to make sure that there is a solid feedback going back and forth, ensuring that we're delivering what's needed every time that we deliver a project. Finally, all of this can be monitored and reported on in real time. So we can deliver reports or chunks of data again in real time or monthly or weekly or hourly or whatever is needed by the client in a similar fashion as to how we get the data into our database or platform in the first place. Again, that can be API or a cloud transfer or proprietary platforms, in-house platforms, you name it, and we can be pretty flexible with it. So armed with that information on how this process looks internally, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Anupam Biswas, our Chief Delivery Officer. Anupam? Okay. If you'll give us just 1 second, got to get Anupam back on here.
Thanks, Laura.
Here we go. Thanks, Anupam.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Today, I'm going to start by introducing you to one of our workers. This is Barnali. She grew up in a tiny village in eastern India where there are very few employment opportunities, especially for women. Most of the girls and women in her village do not complete their education and as such remain in the village. to work at home. With iMerit, Barnali's story, however, is much different. Barnali continued her education and joined iMerit as a data entry operator. After having trained with our sister foundation, Anudeep, she was quick to move up the ranks in iMerit, first becoming a team lead and now managing one of iMerit's centers near Kolkata. For most girls in our village, this kind of work is almost unthinkable. Barnali has shown that not only can girls work in IT, but they can excel as well. Today, she has encouraged many girls from her village to continue learning and working, and she is able to financially support herself and her family. For our clients, she makes sure that all projects are delivered smoothly and meet and exceed expectations. So let's explore the story of some of these clients. We were approached by a virtual reality company needing large sets of images tagged in order to train their algorithms. They knew they needed very specific parts of the face tagged, as you see in the on the slide, and then output in XML format, but they didn't have the internal platform or the manpower to handle this. So we listened to their needs and using internal resources, created a lightweight in-house platform for image tagging. Subsequently, we deployed a small team, just a few workers, to rapidly process images. Setting up this project was a highly collaborative and innovative endeavor between our teams and the client's teams. We worked closely with multiple product managers at the virtual reality company, ensuring that we did not provide a one-size-fits-all solution. Instead, it was a custom crowd solution with all the benefits of the crowd, like size, speed, and the particular solution needed by the virtual reality company. This quick ramp-up allowed us to fine-tune the platform speedily and give the client tagged JPEG images and XML files containing clean, complete output. In turn, the client got to state what they wanted and what they didn't want. So by the time we hit full production, ramping up our team of just a few workers to about several dozen, the client was getting exactly what they needed every time. So once we hit the full production mode, our teams were able to deliver approximately 30,000 tagged images, each containing scores of hand tag points in just 8 weeks. The virtual reality company seamlessly fed this into their algorithms and continued to work with us today. On the as an aside, remember that we did this with specifically trained and curated teams who had limited concept of virtual reality, let alone any experience of it. So how were we able to do this? It comes back to our platform that Laura was mentioning. We use technology to identify talent, monitor it, nurture it, and align it with the delivery of services. This is dynamic data service targeting at a huge scale. We currently have over 600 employees, and this will grow to 6,000 in the coming years, and will be a global integrated series of teams, all sourced from underprivileged, marginalized youth. Well, now let's take a look at a totally different use case where we were working with highly sensitive user service tickets. In this case study, we are talking about confidential and time-sensitive user feedback provided to our clients. This particular client is an on-demand economy company with a huge user base. They needed their service tickets, which are critical to the safety and satisfaction of their users, categorized quickly so that they're able to get to the most important ones in time to resolve critical and crucial issues. However, they realized that using in-house resources was expensive and also unnecessary. So they turned to Crowdflower, a leading crowdsourcing and data enhancement platform, and the iMerit teams in order to tackle this challenge. As a quick note, Crowdflower is one of our longest running and most trusted partner, and we are a driving force behind their ability to provide secure, non-disclosure, agreement-bound bound workforces to their users. So what this means in practice is that the iMerit teams logged on to a Crowdflower platform are able to read, review, and categorize every incoming ticket, assigning topic and urgency to each. The work continues in real time with a dedicated iMerit team serving this client's needs. In this particular case, there was one weekend, sometime in September, in which the client faced an unprecedented spike in service tickets. Because of iMerit's highly flexible workforce, we were able to mobilize over 200 workers to process over 40,000 service tickets in just one single weekend. So armed with carefully categorized data and the ability to weather any spike in volume, our client is able to ensure that the most important tickets are seen immediately and all users feel secure and well taken care of. So moving on to the next case study, here we are dealing with what turned out to be highly subjective sentiment judgments. This client approached us with images of people in various emotional states, needing them to be categorized by emotion and as well as the intensity of the emotion. So at first, this seemed to be a fairly straightforward task, and our workers went through a few hundred judgments on images and the emotion they contained. Note that the actual images we were working with were much more ambiguous than this kind woman smiling we have here. As we and the client looked at the metrics from our first run through, we saw that the initial task design proposed by the client did not work to establish a clear consensus on emotion and the intensity level. So the design as it was did not actually cut through the built-in subjectivity to provide a clear and useful judgment. So rather than stopping there, what our teams did was they began to reconsider the process, the assumptions underlying the project design, and the quality design, realizing that more judgments in this case didn't necessarily mean better judgments, and working closely with the client, we were able to build a new project design, accounting for the built-in subjectivity. The combination of our people and the platform was able to surface some new insights to this data challenge, giving us and our clients a new view on how to tackle these sort of data tasks. So the case studies I just covered revolve around projects containing secure data, whether it be proprietary virtual reality processes or personally identifiable information. Because of that, I would like to focus on how we ensure security and quality at iMerit. So let's talk about the security and quality processes at iMerit. To start with, we have a dedicated global team whose top priorities are security and quality. This small team has the eyes on each project entering iMerit's offices in order to enforce enterprise-level security and quality standards. We currently adhere to the ISO 27001 standards for information security and the ISO 9001 standards for quality. What it effectively means is that everything from our human resource practices to office access, communication plans, and client relationships are governed by best practices in security and quality. Now, just to explore a bit more, in terms of physical security, we offer numerous layers of security that are unattainable with traditional crowds. Since all of our workers are full-time employees, they all work on iMerit premises. This means no access to removable media, tightly restricted access to projects and platforms, on-location servers with restricted access, manned entry to all iMerit premises, biometric access to the project areas, and of course 27/7 monitoring. We always know what workers are working on which projects and where. A valuable piece of information impossible to get when working with anonymous crowds or other methods of data enhancement. That's not all. In addition to the physical and digital security practices that we embrace, we achieve such high quality and security by also carefully curating our team members and their skills. As we mentioned earlier, our workers are hired from our sister foundation, Anudeep. So what that means is that before hiring any of our workers, we know about their backgrounds, their skills, and their dreams. So we carefully select top Anudeep graduates, ensuring that iMerit workers are dedicated to the work we do and feel a part of the iMerit family. The vast majority of our workers come from marginalized backgrounds. They are Muslim young women with no other career opportunities, rural workers with limited IT access outside of the office, refugees, and economically disadvantaged youth. However, once they become iMerit employees, they earn anywhere between 3 to 5 times their earlier household income, and also receive benefits like health insurance, holidays, and even stock options. On the job, they receive targeted training to ensure their expertise and engagement. This also fosters very low attrition. We have 3% on average, and dedication to high quality secure work. Therefore, it's not only our standards and practices that's keeping iMerit projects performing securely at such top quality, but the dedication of our people too. And this combination is why we call ourselves a human-empowered computing company. So thank you so much for listening. We hope that you all have enjoyed this discussion. Laura and I are happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, guys. So there are some questions in the question box here. There's one from Dominic Johnson that asks, if accuracy is low, do you provide additional training?
Yes, I'll take that question, Laura. Yes, we do provide additional training. The way our teams are structured is that we, beyond our contributors, we have team leads that monitor the contributors that work on platforms or otherwise. And there's also, as I was talking about, the quality teams that monitor the quality of the project from outside and identify training needs based on the individual quality. And that's how we know what the specific quality training needs are, and go ahead and provide the training.
Cool, Dominic, thank you. I hope that answered your question. If there are any other questions, guys, then please put them in the question box. There's another question saying, what kind of training do iMerit employees receive?
Yeah. So iMerit employees, as I was mentioning, are usually coming from our sister foundation, Anudeep. So what Anudeep does is work with the marginalized youth, and they provide training on computer skills, digital service skills, and job readiness. So once they come in into iMerit, they receive a on-the-job training on process skills and domain-specific skills as required by the projects that they are assigned to. And once they are up to speed on the processes, they start working on the process, if that answers your question.
Awesome. Yes, I think that did. How is this different from outsourcing exactly?
It's really that's an interesting question. It's different from outsourcing in that we have a social impact that we care for. We work with certain sections of the society. We do continual training for training our people and taking them to the different levels. Maybe they start off by data extraction and data enrichment, and then move on to other stuff like machine learning or sentiment analysis. So we try and make a difference to their learning skills as well.
Awesome, thank you. Here's another question from Vinayak, which says, how do I accomplish complex as well as simple tasks?
Okay, so as I was mentioning, there's a sorry, excuse me. There's a constant learning that's happening. There's on-the-job training. There's sorry, excuse me. There's continual learning that happens as part of the iMerit training. So they start off with simple tasks, but as they mature at the task, they move on to more complex tasks, and they are put into the processes, and their quality and productivity monitored. Because we have this quality team that is continuously monitoring the productivity and quality of our workers. They are able to identify the specific skills that need to be imparted to these to our workers to make them work on such complex projects, and that's how we skill our people to take on more complex tasks. Does that answer your question, Vinay?
Thank you very much. Laura, I think you have a question too. And yes, it did indeed answer Vinayak's question. Thank you.
Yeah, we have one question about where our workers do their work and what the employee centers are like, which I know, Anupam, you touched on a little bit, but maybe if you want to give a little bit more information.
Yeah, our workers work from the different iMerit. They all work from iMerit premises. Our iMerit premises are in multiple locations in and around Kolkata, and also in the eastern part of India. Currently, we have 3 offices in Kolkata and 2 offices in the adjoining states of West Bengal in the eastern part of India. So we currently work out of 5 facilities.
Great. Thanks, Anupam. It looks like those are all of the questions I'm seeing. If anyone has a last one. Oh, we got a new one coming in. Just one second. Anupam, maybe this one's for you. If charges,
Yeah.
you see this? Yeah. If charges are based on output versus specifications or time spent. So that's a question on pricing if you want to tackle that, Anupam.
Yes. Actually, I would say that would depend on the type of tasks that is task or work that is required to be done. We work on both of these on a full-time equivalent basis, as well as transactions-based pricing. So that's something that we can work towards. We have clients for whom we work on both of these models, both a full-time equivalent basis or a fixed charges basis or even transaction based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it is pretty flexible depending on the project needs. Did that answer the question? Okay, looks like it. Alrighty, awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us. We enjoyed chatting with all of you virtually. If you do have any other questions, you can throw them up here right now, or you can get in touch with me at laura@imerit.net or anupam@imerit.net for Anupam. This is recorded and you will receive a link or a version of it via email shortly. So keep an eye out for that in case you want to revisit it or if you don't want to write down our email addresses. We really look forward to hearing from all of you and we look forward to continuing this kind of conversation. So thanks all for joining us. Enjoy your evening or your morning, wherever you may be, and we will chat again. Thanks.
Thank you.